Hi everyone, welcome to the latest training talk video. So I put some suggestions out during the week, and one of the main ones that came back was a video to do on mental toughness, how to deal with mental toughness in a race, how to deal with it within training, managing the whole environment factor. So mental toughness is something that's affected by so many different things. It's affected by environment, how you train, who you train with, your support network around you, so things at home, partners, friends, all that stuff. It's affected by your experiences in the last sort of in your life. If they've been good, bad, positive, negative, tough or easy. It's sort of how you're shaped as a person. Now, there's certain things that you can focus on to become more mentally tough. Firstly, it's good to understand what a mentally tough athlete looks like. What are the attributes of that? What are the qualities? And what does a successful athlete work on to become even more mentally tough? So I've wrote down a few things that define someone, an athlete. Let's stick with athletics. So an athlete who is mentally tough. They're confident. I think that's the first thing. So they believe in themselves. Without belief in you, you won't be mentally tough. Number two is consistent. So a mentally tough athlete's consistent. They're consistent. They're day in, day out. They're doing something that's pushing them forward towards their goal. They're controlled, so they don't react massively positive or massively negative at any moment. They're quite in the middle. They're controlled day to day, and that's something that I'm learning more of myself probably. And not to have massive highs and massive lows. It's just to stay level. Level-headed is a big attribute. Determined, so obviously I think that's a word we're all described as someone who's mentally tough, is they're determined towards getting towards their goal. Also up or down focused, so they're focused, they're not distracted by other things going on around them, whether it's training related or outside of training, in life in general. They're focused on their goal, what's going to get them close to the goal, and they're not going to be put off and set back from other things outside affecting that. So looking at the qualities in more detail and things that we need to be aware of as an athlete that affect mental toughness. Let's look at some attributes. So like resilience. I think resilience is obviously an important thing, and I think it links on to the fact that in my last talk about mental attributes is that don't be afraid to fail, and failure is a very, very important part of being a runner. I mean, we lose a lot unless you're a winner all the time in a race. Like, you lose a lot. You're losing a lot day in, day out. So you got to get used to setbacks. You got to get used to failures. You got to get used to moments when it isn't so good. There's way more bad moments in training and racing than there is in good. So first of all, you have to get used to have setbacks, and that has to be a natural part of your training. So someone who's resilient, they admit mistakes. That's important. They admit when you're wrong, and they understand the missed opportunity, and you isolate a lesson and learn from it quickly. So you identify something that's went wrong, you learn from it better next time. That's a strategy that you have to keep going through all the time. Another attribute is focus. So I'll link back to the last thing I just said. The ability to focus without distractions. That's massively important, because if you're distracted and you're not focused, then you're undisciplined. You're a slave to your moods, as Kipchoge says, and therefore you're inconsistent. Therefore, don't reap the rewards of a consistent training plan. And the other point about focus is that a mentally tough runner doesn't avoid situations. They go straight in. So they're not going to be put off by things that might be tough, that affects their focus towards their training goal, for example. Another attribute is strength. So quite a broad term. It's essentially the ability to handle successfully unforeseen events that comes your way. So something that doesn't go to plan, you have the ability to stay calm, overcome that, remain balanced, leading to the last point, and continue to be competitive even when the odds are stacked against you. That's strength. Preparation, the ability to anticipate situations before they happen. Now, this is very important. This comes down to organisation as well. Something that I'm trying to get better better at in terms of like other qualities, in terms of my nutrition, in terms of setting up my business and work schedule better to get more training rewards for myself, and also rewards for the business and everyone in it, and the athletes, to get more out of themselves. Preparation is such a massive part of anyone that is successful. All successful people are organised and they prepare for every event possible. So you have to have an A plan, you have to have a B plan, maybe a C plan. You have to have a plan and have to stick to it. So yeah, absolutely. Anticipate what's going to happen, how's that going to affect this, how that's going to affect that. Map it out, provide a plan, provide B plans, C plans, and therefore you're less likely to fail. And therefore you're going to be more successful. More successful means you're going to be more mentally tough. Another point is vision. So the ability to keep moving forward and have an objective, no matter if it's going good, bad, or there's absolutely no sign of success in the short term at all. Having a vision is everything. It's why you're doing something. That's why we tell all our athletes to set goals. If you don't have a goal, you don't have a vision. Therefore, there's nothing to work to. There's no reason to sacrifice your time, your energy, your other commitments. You need to focus so much on such a difficult sport, if you like. So without a vision, without a why, you're never going to get there. You're never going to be mentally tough. You're never going to, when workouts get tough, when races get tough, if the why isn't big enough, you're going to go for option B and say, right, I don't really fancy doing this. I'm just going to back it off. You're not going to go all in, if you like. And another point about vision is visualization. Something I use a lot of, whether I'm preparing, whether I'm outside of training or I'm training or I'm racing, or just before a race. It's visualization of being successful, you achieving your goal, your vision, and repeating that over and over again. Visualization is such a massive part of being a mentally tough runner and a successful athlete. So paint the picture of your goal, visualize it often, and keep that in the forefront of your mind through good, bad, and ugly situations. It's massive. Another point is openness. So talked about this before, but you're sort of like, you're willing to admit mistakes, you're willing to listen to other people, you're willing to take on board feedback, and you're not afraid to change. So these are some strong stuff that some people provide barriers to. If you're not willing to change, therefore you're not going to progress. It's all about change. It's all about learning, developing, learning from a scenario, what went wrong, what went bad, analyze it, change it, then put the action plan into place, and then you go again. And it's all about that constantly. So you've got to be open. You've got to have a growth mindset, an open mind, as we keep talking about in NEP. It's about having that growth mindset, not a fixed one. And yeah, that's where the real changes take place. So be open, admit mistakes, take feedback from other people. It's your choice, I guess, to decide if it's right or wrong, through education and asking all sorts of different people. But yeah, you've got to be open. So, and the last point is trust. So you got to trust everything that's going on. So you got to trust your body to deliver on the day. You've got to trust your coach. If you don't trust your coach, get a different coach. That's everything. If you don't trust what you're being told to do, and you don't believe in the program, therefore change it. Get out. If you don't trust in your training, you're going to get on that start line with regrets. Therefore, you're not going to give everything, because you'll just think, well, next time I'm going to do this and I'll be better than anyway. So what's the point? So yeah. Trust your training. You got to trust your training. Therefore, it comes from preparation. Trust is built from preparation. And when your support network's not around you, so trust is in yourself. So when that support network's not around you for whatever reason on a given day, a given race, a given moment, you're still confident that you're going to deliver. You're going to get your goal, and you're going to be confident and mentally tough, even when nobody around you is there to support you. And that's like the highest level. That's the highest level of being mentally tough, I guess, is to have that strength within you, no matter what is going on around you, with no support at all. And that takes some getting to. Now, I've outlined some points about sort of some key things in training related that helps you to become more mentally tough, and some other things that help you, don't help you to become more mentally tough. So the first one, things that help you to be mentally tough. So long runs build grit, determination, resolve. Long runs are a massive benefit to making you more mentally tough. So get them in. Hard sessions. If you don't test your body to stay positive when you're feeling uncomfortable, you're not going to become more mentally tough. Okay, don't go for the easy option. Hard sessions. When you get told to do a hard session, get it done. Don't hide away from it. Get straight into it. Races allow you to perfect everything around your training as a skill, hone your abilities. If you don't race often, you're not going to well. You're not going to find out your limits. You're not going to find more about yourself. Okay, you're always just 80-90%. And the last one is consistency and frequency of training builds mental fortitude to train more regularly. So the more you train, the more you feel like training. That's such an important point. You know, you've got to stay consistent and build momentum. I really believe in momentum massively, from one training block to the next. I'm not saying rest isn't important, but consistency day in day out is top of the list for me in terms of building mental toughness. Some things that don't build mental toughness, these are things that you need to fix in your training. Talk to your coach about it, get them out. So I've got maintaining low weekly mileage numbers. So if you're not doing much in a week, you're not necessarily making it very hard for yourself. You're not going to become very mentally tough at all. So up your weight. Therefore, you got more challenges to face, more strength to grow. Running inconsistent or relatively short long runs. So the opposite of what I said essentially. If you're not out there for a long time, you're not learning more about yourself. You're not spending enough time being uncomfortable essentially. Avoiding hard sessions, of course, and doing random workouts that don't lead you towards your goal, or sort of workouts that don't build on the previous workout. You sort of go around in circles. You go around in circles, you're not going anywhere. You're not getting tougher, you're not getting more successful, you're not learning, you're not developing. So workouts have got to be progressive. See this all the time in the running community. Same thing week in, week out. You gotta be progressive if you're gonna go somewhere. And yeah, the last point is if you don't race often, you're not gonna know more about yourself, and you're not gonna have the chance to become mentally tough. If you want to be a successful runner, the end goal, just like playing football, is the match. If you don't play any matches, therefore you're not gonna know. You're not gonna know how you're gonna be. So yeah, you gotta race. You gotta race regularly, once or twice a month. Get out there, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to fail. Get after it. Learn from it. Adapt, grow, and get close to your goal next time. Okay. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. So there's my little summary on mental toughness. Complex topic. There's no easy fix about it. It's about an experience that you got to go through. But yeah, hone these abilities, hone these qualities, and keep working on it. It's not going to happen overnight. It's a long process. It takes years, years and years. But yeah, keep learning, keep developing, and put these qualities into action. Thanks for listening, guys.